In the realm of political communication, few figures have been as polarizing and effective as Donald Trump. From his 2016 campaign against Hillary Clinton to his 2020 and 2024 campaigns against Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, respectively, Trump's ability to captivate and mobilize millions has been both remarkable and instructive. In this episode of Advance Your Leadership with Dr. Ike, we delve into 12 communication tactics Donald Trump employed to engage millions, drawing from real-life events across his campaigns. Regardless of one's political stance, these strategies offer valuable insights into persuasive communication and leadership. Tactic 1. Simplify the message. Trump consistently communicated complex issues in simple, relatable terms. During the 2016 campaign, his slogan, "Make America Great Again," encapsulated a broad vision in a straightforward phrase. This simplicity made his message accessible and memorable to a wide audience. For example, in a 2016 rally, Trump addressed trade deficits by stating, "We don't win anymore. We lose to China. We lose to Mexico." This simplification resonated with voters concerned about economic issues. Lesson for leaders: break down complex ideas into clear, concise messages that your audience can easily grasp and remember. Tactic 2. Repetition for emphasis. Trump often repeated key phrases to reinforce his messages. Phrases like "build the wall" and "drain the swamp" were reiterated across speeches and social media, embedding them in public consciousness. For example, throughout his 2016 campaign, "Lock her up" became a recurring chant at rallies, emphasizing his stance on Hillary Clinton's email controversy. Lesson for leaders: use repetition to reinforce core messages, ensuring they stick with your audience. Tactic 3. Create us versus them narratives. Trump frequently framed issues as battles between us, his supporters, and them, opponents or external entities. This tactic fostered a strong group identity among his base. For example, in the 2020 campaign, he often referred to the media as fake news, positioning them as adversaries to his movement. Lesson for leaders: while divisive tactics can be risky, creating a clear distinction between your group's values and others can strengthen internal cohesion. Tactic 4. Leverage social media. Trump's use of Twitter was unprecedented, allowing him to communicate directly with millions, bypassing traditional media filters. His tweets often set the news agenda and kept him in the public eye. For example, in 2017, his tweet about captivate garnered massive attention, demonstrating his ability to dominate media cycles with a single post. The lesson for leaders here is to utilize social media platforms to engage directly with your audience, control your narrative, and respond swiftly to events. Tactic 5. Use nicknames and labels. Trump assigned memorable nicknames to opponents such as Crooked Hillary, Sleepy Joe, and Phony Kamala. These labels were designed to shape public perception negatively. For instance, during the 2024 campaign, referring to Kamala Harris as Phony Kamala aimed to cast doubt on her authenticity. The lesson for leaders is that while derogatory nicknames can be unethical, creating strong, positive branding for yourself and your team can influence public perception. Tactic 6. Dominate media coverage. Trump's actions and statements were often designed to attract media attention, keeping him at the center of public discourse. For example, his 2016 announcement of running for president, descending the Trump Tower escalator, was a highly publicized event that garnered extensive media coverage. The lesson for leaders is to create newsworthy events or statements to maintain visibility and control over your narrative. Tactic 7. Appeal to emotion. Trump's rhetoric often tapped into emotions like fear, anger, and pride, motivating his base to action. For example, his 2016 speeches about crime rates and immigration were designed to evoke fear and a desire for security among voters. The lesson for leaders here is to understand the emotional drivers of your audience and craft messages that resonate on an emotional level. Tactic 8. Use visual symbols. Trump utilized visual symbols, such as the red Make America Great Again hats, to create a recognizable and unifying brand. For example, the MAGA hat became a symbol of his movement, worn by supporters at rallies and public events. The lesson for leaders is to develop visual elements that represent your brand and can be easily adopted by your audience to foster a sense of unity. Tactic 9. Frame himself as an outsider. Despite his wealth, Trump positioned himself as an outsider to the political establishment, appealing to voters, disillusioned with traditional politics. For example, in 2016, he frequently criticized career politicians, presenting himself as a businessman who would drain the swamp. The lesson for leaders is that positioning yourself as a fresh perspective can be appealing, especially in environments resistant to change. Tactic 10. Use humor and sarcasm. Trump often employed humor and sarcasm to disarm critics and entertain his audience, making his speeches more engaging. For example, during a 2016 debate, he quipped, "I have the best words," showcasing self-deprecating humor that endeared him to supporters. The lesson for leaders here is that appropriate use of humor can make you more relatable and keep your audience engaged. Tactic 11. Hold large-scale events. Trump's rallies were characterized by large, enthusiastic crowds, creating a sense of momentum and popularity. An example is his 2020 rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Despite controversies, it demonstrated his ability to mobilize large groups of supporters. Lesson for leaders. Organize events that bring your community together, showcasing solidarity and shared purpose. Tactic 12. Be unapologetically authentic. Trump's unfiltered communication style was perceived as genuine by his supporters, building trust and loyalty. For instance, during a 2016 rally, he said, "I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose voters. While controversial, this bold and unscripted remark resonated with his supporters as proof of his confidence and authenticity. Lesson for leaders: authenticity resonates. Be true to your values and let your personality shine. Even polarizing authenticity can create strong connections with your audience. Conclusion: Donald Trump's communication tactics revealed the power of strategic messaging, emotional connection, and bold authenticity. Whether you admire or criticize him, these strategies provide leaders with valuable lessons for engaging audiences and creating impactful movements. Call to action. Now it's your turn. How will you adapt these tactics in your leadership journey? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to Advance Your Leadership with Dr. Ike for more insights. Also, take our high-performance self-assessment to unlock your leadership potential. The link is in the description. Until the next episode, keep leading and keep advancing.